Welcome back to another episode of the Paycheck podcast, the 605th best rap podcast on the internet. I'm your host, Justice. I used to be Pay, and today we're back with another episode. So if you're at work and you're bored, if you're doing homework, whatever you're doing, just pop this in your ear, and we're just going to talk about hip hop for, I don't know, however long it takes me to get through all these topics. But just to get into the first one straight ahead, it's a little unserious, but it's also kind of serious at the same time. And that being this kind of epidemic that we're going through right now of male rappers getting leaked. Okay, so we all know about the Drake thing. That happened maybe like 2 weeks ago or something like that. But recently, Freddie Gibbs and Bossman Dlow were the most recent victims of this leaking of content when it comes to rappers. And so Bossman Dlow is the guy that has the song Get In With Me that's super viral right now. Like, his career is going up right now. He's going crazy. But this is, kind of, I won't say a dampening, but it's just kind of like that's, a rough look, I guess. But yeah, so I'm going to really tell the story of Freddie Gibbs more so than Dlow because I know more about his story. But still, I want to talk about this in general because it is kind of funny. All right, I'll admit I'm not perfect. I laughed. I did. The jokes are funny online. They're funny. I get it. But it is kind of a serious topic that nobody's really talking about. Like, people aren't really hitting the gaps that are missing that are kind of serious. And I kind of want to fill those gaps with my own opinion. So to just break down the whole Freddie Gibbs thing, Freddie Gibbs was in a pretty long-term relationship with a woman named Destiny Creams. So that should tell you a lot. That should give you a lot of context about this person and their line of work. So Destiny Creams, she does her job, which is to be Destiny Creams. So that was her thing. Her and Freddie end up getting together and they have a relationship. They're cool or whatever. And she gets pregnant by Freddie Gibbs. Now they have a massive falling out on social media, as popular couples tend to do. They fall out on social media. Everything gets exposed. She's posting text message screenshots. You did this. You did that. I was paying your phone bill. Just a whole bunch of crazy stuff that shouldn't be aired online, but is aired online when it comes to like these public breakups. So that happens. And Miss Destiny Creams, I'm going to call her Miss Creams for the rest of this episode. Miss Creams goes on to say that she has a picture of Freddie Gibbs kind of spreading himself, spreading his cheeks and not the ones on his face. She says that he used to do that with her on FaceTime. And now at this point, when she's saying all this stuff, people are just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you're just a bitter baby mama. We all know how this story goes. What, you gonna say he's gay next? Like, we all kind of see how this internet thing goes when it comes to breaking up. But like, we just kind of ignore that, right? So she's pregnant with Freddie's baby. She's wilding. Miss Creams is still active in her line of work with other male people in that line of work while pregnant. So Miss Creams is going crazy. And then the baby's born. They're still kind of going back and forth. They're a little bitter, whatever. But it's kind of quiet, right? So she also had the term Spready Gibbs trending for a while. I forgot to mention that. She also had Spready Gibbs trending on Twitter for a while because she kept, she was talking about him, being Spready Gibbs. And on Valentine's Day, Freddie Gibbs posts himself with his new girl. He's got a new girlfriend. He looks happy in the video. Her and the girl or whatever, they're doing their thing, right? And so Miss Creams, in response, ends up posting the photo of Spready Gibbs being Spready Gibbs and it's a real photo. It actually happened. He has his cheeks spread apart. I don't know why. She said he thought it was funny. I don't know. But unfortunately, I did end up seeing the photo because somebody told me to check her Twitter and I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, so Miss Creams posted the photo and everybody's laughing. They getting their jokes off. Spready Gibbs, whatever, cool, I guess. It's funny. But are we not going to acknowledge the fact that this is revenge corn? Like, again, I don't hate to be that guy, but it may feel like I'm being Debbie Downer and ruining the fun, but bro, this is revenge corn. If this was, and I hate to do this because I'm not a fresh and fit dude. I'm not one of those dudes that be on like the whole red pill wave. Oh my God, women, the double standard. But this is a double standard. Let's just be real. It's a double standard. This woman just exposed this man without his consent because she's mad because he moved on and has another girlfriend. Miss Creams exposed Spready Gibbs for spreading because she's mad he has another girlfriend. That's really just all that happened. And people can get their jokes off. It's funny, but that's lame as hell. That's lame behavior. It is. And if it was a dude, like imagine if after Party and Meg broke up, Party was posting Meg's nudes. He would be getting flamed. People would be going crazy on Party. You lame, you cornball. What's wrong with you? This white man, da, da, da. And this is the same thing. This is lame ass behavior by Miss Creams. This is corny. So what? He moved on. Y'all fell out. Cool. But why are you exposing this man and whatever he got going on in his bedroom? Like, that's just weird. It's weird behavior and it's lame. And also, at the same time, I hate when people do this type of stuff. I hate when they get out of a relationship with somebody or they're not friends with them anymore. And then they start exposing them for stuff that person did. But you were cool with it. The reason he probably thought it was funny is because you was laughing. Now Freddie Gibbs is a problem. When Freddie Gibbs was, bae, it was cool. You was cool with the spreading. But now when Freddie is spreading and it's not with you no more, you upset. Like it's really stupid. It's really stupid. And overall, it was some really lame. It was some really lame stuff for her to do, in my opinion. I don't really approve of that. Miss Creams, I think that's wrong. And I really think Freddie should sue her. I think that if I was Freddie, I would sue her. I would take Miss Creams to court and I would get whatever I could get off her because that's wrong, bro. It's just lame. And again, people can get their jokes off, but it's revenge porn. Why are we just ignoring the whole person that just committed a crime? It's weird. And on the Bossman Dlow side of things, I don't really know what's happening with that. I just know he got exposed and people were talking about like his meat and they were saying like it was, and they were saying like he was getting his butt like, they were saying a girl was tossing the salad, essentially. That's the best way I can put it. And again, I think the main person who exposed this was Rick Ross's baby mama, who's been going super viral. She's been listening to the song and stuff. She was like the main one who exposed his nudes. And we're not like, nobody's calling her out for this. Nobody's calling for her to apologize. Nobody's on Twitter. Oh my God. Nobody's doing any of that because it's a dude and it's funny. Look at his little meat. And he likes to, have a woman mess with his butt. He's gay. Like nobody's actually, again, you can get your jokes off. The jokes are funny. I get it. But nobody's actually looking at the real bad guy here. Like everyone's looking at Bossman Dlow and what's his name? Freddie Gibbs as the bad guys in this situation when it's really the people who are exposing them without their consent. And honestly, it is a double standard, but it's not a double standard just by women. It's a double standard by men as well because men don't care either. Men, like honestly, when a female superstar gets her nudes leaked, of course, men are going to look at it and be like, oh, look at her. Yeah. But at least the women, more times than not, are going to stand up for her. But when it comes to men, they right alongside the women laughing at the dudes who got leaked. They don't care about it. They not acting like it's a serious thing. So it's not only just like, oh, my God, women are, they're so bad for leaking. Like, because the dudes are right alongside them just laughing and acting like it's funny. It is funny, but damn, can we be serious for like just 2 seconds and be like, can we hold these people accountable for exposing people's nudes when they never asked for that? I think we should hold people accountable for that type of stuff. But nobody really cares about the violation of privacy of men, including other men. It's not just women. It's not, it's not really a one sex thing when it comes to not caring about men. And also, a lot of you dudes are kind of acting a little weird about this whole thing, especially when it comes to Bossman Dlow. Like people are like, oh my God, bro, I can't listen to bro music anymore. Like, I mean, I don't know why you really care about his what he's doing in the bedroom. And then like some people are like, oh man, he let me down. Like, he let you down? What was his meat not the right size for you? Like, were you disappointed when like y'all are weird? A lot of y'all are really weird about this too. A lot of y'all are getting into a very strange place when it comes to like criticizing these dudes for having, you know what? That's none of my business, but y'all are a little weird. But that's besides the point. I just wanted to get on here and say nobody's holding these women accountable, these people accountable in general for exposing people when nobody asked for that. Nobody wanted to do that. So I think that's a topic of discussion that needs to be brought up a lot more when it comes to men getting leaked. There's no like sympathy like, oh my God, you were violated. It's just kind of like, haha, it's funny. Look at his meat or look at his butt. I don't know. But that's finished. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I think I'm done with Freddie Gibbs and Destiny Creams for a lifetime. But now to move on to Vultures. The album Vultures that everyone was talking about over the last week, everyone's still talking about to this day. Vultures has pretty much finished its entire first week as I'm recording this, and it sold about 150K first week. Now, in my opinion, that was expected. I didn't expect this project to sell 300K like the other Kanye projects. I knew coming into this that this was going to be something that was a little bit smaller, but still a major selling first week for Kanye regardless, because he's still Kanye West. It doesn't matter what he's done. It's still Kanye West. Even if he's independent and he's doing this, whatever, it's still Kanye West. But he did drop this album on like a Saturday morning. So he didn't even give himself like the full week to actually get album sales. He missed like a day and a quarter of a day or something like that. So who knows what he would have sold if it was a full week. And, you know, people are like, oh my God, this is so great for Kanye, which I mean, it is. And they're like, oh my God, Kanye did this independent. Wow. First independent artist to sell this much and how long? And it's like, all right. Yes, he's independent, but come on, bro. It's Kanye. Like Kanye is a legend in the game. This is his 20th year rapping, 21st year in the mainstream. Like, yeah, he's independent, but it's not like he's just this Joe Schmo who was independent his whole career and just came up out of nowhere. And now he's one of the big, like, bro, he was with Rockefeller to start off. Like, come on now. I'm not trying to hate. I'm just being like, all right, y'all are gassing up this independent narrative. Kind of a lot. It is impressive. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like he's just some nobody who just happened to, you know, fall into a whole #1 album. But the album, there was a little controversy a couple of days ago because it was taken down off Apple Music for a couple of hours. Now, a lot of people were theorizing, oh my God, the streaming services, they're trying to silence Yeat. The streaming services, oh my God, this is unfair. They like King Von's music. You know, they were in their conspiracy theory bag, but really what it came down to was the distribution company that Vultures was distributing under didn't approve of the album ever actually being on streaming services, which is really strange. I don't really know how this happened. I can't get into the details of it because they haven't really released the details of it, but the company that he released it with is called Fuga, or that it was distributed from is Fuga, F-U-G-A. And according to them, the album was distributed with them through a client who delivered the album to online services through the platform's automated processes and never actually had it approved. So basically they just put it into the computer and let the computer do its thing. They didn't get it approved by FUGA or whatever. And they had been trying to take the album down actually for a while until they got it down. Now, I don't really know what happened since then. I don't know if they figured it out, but the distribution company with Ye didn't really mesh. They didn't want Vultures on the platform. I don't know why, but they didn't. So it wasn't a conspiracy theory. Some people were like, oh my God, this is Jay-Z and Rock Nation. Jay-Z's trying to stop the song Carnival from going #1 because he wants Beyonce to go #1. Stop it. Stop it. It's not a conspiracy theory. This was just the distribution company not being on the same page with the people who made the album or the client who actually posted the album. This was not Jay-Z interfering with Ye and trying to stop him from being successful because he does want to see Ye outshine him, bro. He's so he been jealous of Ye since day one, bro. No, this is just something with the distribution company. And honestly, let's just play around and let's just say it was Jay-Z. Do you really think Kanye West would not be on Instagram crashing out at Jay-Z if he has something to do with this? Think about it. It's not like you can say, oh, well, Kanye doesn't want to upset the higher ups. He wants to keep his mouth shut. No, Kanye don't give a damn about that. Kanye at this point has nothing to lose. He has nothing to lose. Everything that Kanye does is self-supported. Yeezy, not with Adidas, not with a record label. That doesn't even have like a reliable streaming or distribution company, it seems. Everything he's doing is Kanye owned, Kanye bought, Kanye filled, like Kanye worked on. Everything is Kanye. He has nothing to lose at this point. You really think he would hesitate to get online and be like, Jay-Z is doing this, and that's why I gotta expose everybody. That's why I gotta expose. He would be crashing out if it was actually Jay-Z. So I feel like that is evidence in itself that it's not Jay-Z and that this was just a misunderstanding with the distribution company. Because again, Kanye didn't even say that much about it. He just said like, oh, go get the album on Yeezy.com since it's being taken off of DSPs. That was pretty much it. So I really don't think it's anything to do with anything, especially a conspiracy. But the people who agree with Kanye and believe in his conspiracies that he's been sprouting see this as proof, because this is like Kanye and the whole Jewish conspiracy theory thing is like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's kind of similar to what Trump says oftentimes. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy in the sense that if Kanye gets out here and says, the Jewish people did that, they did this, they did that, Jewish, you know, if he gets out and says that, right, And the response to it is silence. Nobody says anything. Nobody acknowledges Kanye. None of the media acknowledges Kanye. None of the other celebrities want to acknowledge Kanye. You ask them, hey, what do you think about Kanye? Next question, no comment. If they do that, oh, bro, you know why they didn't want to answer that question, right? Because it's true. They didn't want to answer that question because it's true. They know it's facts. They know Kanye's up there spitting facts. They don't want to answer the question because they know he's the truth. And they don't want to get in trouble. So that's why nobody says anything about Kanye. It's either that, or on the other end, if people shun Kanye, they ban him off social media, they take his albums out their store or whatever, they don't want to endorse him, they don't want to work with him, then it's, oh, that's how you know what Kanye said is true, bro. That's how you know it's true. Because why would they be so mad if it wasn't true? Just let him say what he wants to say. But now they're trying to deplatform him. They're saying it's hate speech. You want to know why they're saying it's hate speech? Because it's facts, and they want to hide the truth. They want to silence the truth. So that's why everyone's so mad. That's why they want to cancel Kanye, bro, because they all know it's true. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy in that sense. Literally anything that happens with Kanye in regards to his rhetoric on Jewish people fulfills the prophecy on one hand or the other. Either people are quiet because they know it's true, or people are loud because they know it's true. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So yeah, I don't know. If this was a whole conspiracy theory thing, especially if Jay-Z of all people was doing it, we all know what the result would be online. Kanye would be on there crashing out. Kanye would be acting a fool. He would be on live calling Jay-Z all out his name. We all know. So I think it's safe to say that the Vultures thing really was an issue with FUGA. Even Yes Jules, who somehow is a part of Kanye's team. It's crazy because Yes Jules, I just know Yes Jules is like the Instagram model who had rumors of messing with LeBron. And let me just address this. Don't y'all ever lie on LeBron like that in his life. That man has never cheated on his wife. Don't you dare. Don't you dare lie on LeBron like that. Just slap you. But yeah, Yes Jules was like that. There was rumors of that. And like, I knew she was an IG model, but I didn't know she did a whole bunch of other stuff. And she's on Kanye's team. And she like put out a tweet that said FUGA or whatever. Like that's what she said on Twitter. So yeah, clearly it has something to do with the distribution company. Wasn't really this major conspiracy theory that the streaming services, Spotify wanted to. No, it's the distribution company. But I'm going to move on to the next topic, and that being Yeat. Yeat just dropped his newest album, 2093, and this album was kind of dropped without a whole bunch of hype. Like, it wasn't like we were waiting for this for months. Like, people were waiting, oh my God, I can't wait for Yeat to drop. This is going to be so great. No, but there wasn't really that much anticipation for this album, especially, well, let's just say outside of Yeat's fandom. Of course, Yeat fans were excited, but like, outside of like the diehards, there wasn't a lot of conversation about this project. There wasn't a lot of conversation about Yeat either. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, Yeat's about to drop. Go check out his album. There wasn't a whole bunch of fanfare. It just kind of happened. But I will say this, Yeat does have a very active and very involved fan base when it comes to anything that he's doing. He's developed a very strong fan base. He's developed a diehard fan base because despite the fact that, you know, he's not in the blogs, nobody's really talking about him, he's not trending online, he's not going on a crazy feature run. When Yeat posted on his page, hey y'all, I'm about to drop the album in a couple of days. Y'all get this comment or y'all get this Instagram post to 250,000 comments. I'm gonna give y'all the track list. He got 250,000 comments in 16 hours. So that's not like a measurement of like, oh my God, he's this major superstar, but that just goes to show you that the fans are engaged with his content. I remember Lil Durk did a similar thing with the song All My Life, I think, or something like that. And he said, give me to 100K comments. So, and I'm not saying that Durk couldn't have got 250K comments. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it goes to show that if Yeat can pull that much, that quickly, his fan base is pretty damn engaged. They're pretty excited about anything that he's doing, and they're going to be there to support him. Now, I will say this as well about Yeat. I say this all the time whenever he ends up dropping a project, and it's that I love that Yeat doesn't have to do a whole bunch of foolishness. I love that Yeat, when he has an album coming out, he doesn't have to start a beef with so-and-so and go on Instagram Live cussing them out. Yeah. He doesn't have to, do a whole bunch of weird stuff online. He doesn't have to post the date and the date comes and change the date, or honestly, the Lil Durk method, which the Lil Durk method really works. If you're an artist out there, and you got some fans, try the Lil Durk method, where you say you're going to drop an album one day, and then that day comes and you just drop the lead single, and then you say, actually, the album's coming out. So it's like, that's actually a very good method. But yeah, he doesn't lie about release dates. He doesn't have to do a whole bunch of goofy stuff where he's, trying to do whatever he can to get in the limelight. He doesn't even really have to do interviews, which kind of sucks, but still, my point proven, that he doesn't do a whole bunch of like gimmicky stuff. Excuse me. He doesn't do a whole bunch of gimmicky stuff in order to promote his album. Now, he does promote his album with billboards. He did like a crop circle thing, which was really cool, but you get what I'm saying. You know what type of promotion I'm talking about when these rappers do a whole bunch of just really, really strange stuff. But typically, he just announces he has an album on the way. He posts some stuff leading up to it, does some promotion, and then it comes out right when he said it was going to come out. Now, there's been times where that hasn't happened, but for the most part, that's what he does. And I absolutely love Yeat for it, because I don't like being played with, bro. I really don't like it. It's annoying. But yeah, just to get straight into the album, after like a listen and a half, the production on this album is very, very different. This album was properly named when it was given the name 2093. It sounds like some futuristic stuff. It sounds like what we expect music to sound like in 2093. Like it's just pretty much very out there. The first half of the album, in my opinion, was very good, very well done. But the second half was a little rough, in my opinion. Second half was a little rough, but overall the production was really, really good. It was more of that like EDM/rave type of stuff, which is interesting. And honestly, if this album was released, let's say 15 years ago, this wouldn't have even been categorized as a rap album by at least most rap fans. This would have been like, oh, that's some weird like dance rave stuff. Like, that's not hip hop, that's not rap. But now it can actually fall under the umbrella of rap, which is really good. In terms of performance on this album, Yeat was pretty solid. I don't think he really shocked me anywhere, and he didn't disappoint me anywhere. Yeat's performances, they were solid. Lyrically, this is probably some of his better work, honestly. I think Yeat is a little underrated lyrically, mostly just because people can't really understand what he's saying, or if they can, they're not really listening to it. Like they hear it, but they're not listening to it. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, he's pretty coherent when it comes to rapping. His bars aren't crazy. They're solid. They, fall in line one after the other. He's not bad. He's really not that bad of a lyrical rapper, even though you're like, it's not bad. It really isn't. If you actually see what he's saying, if you have to look up the lyrics and read it, if you can't understand it, but if you can just listen to him, it's not bad. He does a lot of melodic stuff, or I won't say a lot. He does more melodic stuff, more harmonizing on this project, which is something that I haven't really seen that much from him in the past, at least. But yeah, overall, I would say his performance was pretty solid. His flows on the album are really, really good. The feature from Wayne, though, I want to talk about. A little underwhelming, I'm not gonna lie. Now, Wayne and Yeat, oh my God, I just did like a poetic Flacco stutter. Wayne and Yeat, not really a combo that I was like, I've ever been like, man, that would be a great combo. But I was excited to see what Wayne could do on a Yeat song. But the Yeat song was really watered down, the production at least. The production was really tamed in order for Lil Wayne to have an easier time rapping on it. At least that's what it sounded like. But even still, Wayne's verse was cool. It wasn't that crazy. The song was just kind of meh, in my opinion. And also the mixing was kind of bad. Lil Wayne was like very loud on the song for some reason. So overall, the Wayne feature was kind of disappointing. It didn't really leave me satisfied. The future feature, I hate saying those two words back to back. I always say that. The future feature, and he does so many features too. It could have been really good, at least in my opinion. I thought Future performed really well, but the mixing again was kind of rough. His voice was really, really low for some reason. But I've been looking forward to that song for a really long time because I've heard snippets of it, and I've always thought that Future and Yeat would be a really, really good combo. Definitely a lot better chemistry-wise than like a Wayne and Yeat. That's just kind of weird, but I get it. Again, the second half of the album had a lot of, I won't say a lot, but it dragged its feet a little bit. But the second half of the album had a lot of music that was definitely made to be performed. You could hear that these songs were made with the intention of having hundreds to thousands of people jumping up and down, screaming with like laser beams shooting off in the background. A lot of the stuff on the second half of the album was that EDM rave style of music. And honestly, just for me personally, I'm not that big into EDM and rave. So a lot of those songs, while like I get what their purpose was, they just didn't do that much for me. I'm trying to put this water bottle down discreetly, but it's not working. But yeah, it just didn't really work for me. There wasn't that much. I don't know. I'm just not into that EDM rave style of music, but I could see how it works. I could see the vision of this type of stuff, getting the crowd super excited, getting people to jump up and down and getting them to have fun while at a performance. In terms of influence on this album, there was definitely a lot of influence from previous work. There was a lot of stuff on here that reminded me of Yeezus. There was a lot of stuff on here that reminded me of 808s. And there was even some stuff on here that reminded me of Birds in the Trap Sing McKnight. So Yeat definitely was taking influence from other things, but he was putting his own spin on it. It wasn't like he was just copy and pasting what Kanye or what Travis did on their projects and just putting it here. He was taking a little bit from them and doing kind of his own thing with it. And also, just a little bit of side note, it's pretty crazy that Yeat has worked with a lot of people who I would compare him to, or who most fans would compare him to, or people he probably grew up as a fan of. Like, he's worked with now Uzi, Future, Wayne, I'm missing one, Young Thug as well. So those are like really guys that you can hear in Yeat's music. Now, obviously, he hasn't worked with Kanye or maybe somebody like Travis, but you can hear those influences in his music. And I think that's really cool. And I'm sure that's probably like a dream come true for him growing up as a fan of most of these artists, more likely than not. But again, with the second half of the project, I believe it started to drag its feet. I believe it got a little repetitive and a little boring. And I think this album suffers from the same problem that I've been complaining about for I don't know how long now, and that I'll probably be complaining about until the day I'm dead, which is the just inflation of it. It was just too long. It just had too many songs. This album probably can cut off 4 to 5 songs, and just by leaving off those songs, it would make the album better. It would be a lot of, addition by subtraction in this case. I think a lot of this stuff, not a lot of it, but some of this stuff just really didn't need to be here. And it just started to drag on and bore a little bit. My personal favorite off the album so far is I Love. I think that sample and that production is really, really good. It's also really cool that he sampled something like the Regular Show basketball theme song. Like, if y'all remember that episode where the guy comes down for like the basketball guy, like, you know what I'm talking about if you watch Regular Show. That was really, really cool, especially as somebody who grew up loving Regular Show. But yeah, overall, I would say the album was like, it was okay. It was solid. It started off really strong. There's some really good stuff in the beginning, like a song like Breathe. I like that a lot. But like overall, I was just like, I left the album a little, not really moved. Let's just say I wasn't really moved by the entire album. There were some songs on there where I'm like, okay, but overall, I don't know. I guess I'll have to continue listening to it going into the future to really gather like a final, full opinion on the project. But as of right now, it was good, but I'm not going crazy over it. In terms of the numbers and what it's projecting at the moment, Yeat is projected to sell like 65 to 70K, 65, 75K, something like that. And honestly, that's not bad. I think that would be I don't know if that would be his high. It'd be close to his highest selling album. So those aren't bad numbers. Also, this is an album that came out with not a lot of like hype. So again, it's pretty solid, and it shows that Yeat has a very active fan base, because if you look at somebody like, I don't know, Trippie Redd sells 30K while he's trying to interact with his fans. He's doing all this stuff. He's paying people to post, like, you get what I'm saying? So for Yeat to sell 60 to 75K, something around that range, without a whole lot of like hype and without, having to do a whole bunch of crazy stuff for promo, I think it's pretty impressive. And it's still early. It's only like 2 or 3 days in. Maybe the numbers go up, maybe the numbers go down. But yeah, he did this without a whole bunch of hype or without like a crazy single. There's not one song on here that's going super, super massively viral and everybody's playing and it's on TikTok and it's doing, there's not one song that's just taking over the world at the moment too. So I think it's overall kind of a W for Yeat. I think this overall is a good thing for him. And I think that this could be, I don't know if it's like I wouldn't say this is like a big album for him in terms of like the rest of his career, but I think this album proves to him that you have a real fan base. You're not just hype, because a lot of people have been saying about Yeat, Yeat, I don't know, Yeat is crazy, but a lot of people have been saying about Yeat that like, oh, he's just hype, he's going to be a trend. He's going to be here. He's going to be gone. People aren't going to really pay attention to him in a year. Without TikTok, Yeat's nobody. Nobody cares about Yeat. And honestly, Yeat dropped this album without TikTok, without a whole bunch of crazy stuff, and he still did better numbers than most people. So I don't think this is like a pivotal album for Yeat in terms of like his career. Like, oh my God, is Yeat, he didn't, his numbers didn't go up from the previous album. I don't think it's anything like that. I don't think this has anything to do with his future really, or this isn't going to mess with the trajectory of his career. I don't think this album really had that big of an impact, but I think it was important for Yeat to see that he has a real fan base, people who really are going to support him, even if he's not super hot and the super hot name on TikTok and the super hot name who's, performing here, performing there, and he's doing this, doing that. Like, I think it's important for him to know that, because I think it's really important for all artists to really know, am I a guy who's just kind of popular, or do I have a fan base? Because a lot of people are just kind of popular. They're a known name. People may have heard of them. They might listen to their music as a fad, but they're not really a fan base. I think a lot of people have that. Again, look at somebody like Coi Leray. Coi Leray, super popular, probably more popular than Yeat on the mainstream scale, but she doesn't have that fan base. She doesn't have people who are there just ready to buy her albums regardless, right? If Coi Leray just dropped a hit song, or if Coi Leray hasn't dropped a song in 2 years, either way, they're there to buy the album. She doesn't really have that. Some people don't have that. So I think it's important for Yeat to find out that, hey, okay, I got a real fan base. Like, I got people here who are supporting me through thick and thin, and a lot of people don't have that. So that's really good for him. Shout out to Yeat. Now, to finally get to a topic that I really wanted to talk about, the last and probably the final topic of this episode of the Paycheck podcast, that is cap rap. Now, cap rap is a very interesting thing. Obviously, if you don't know what it is, I don't know how you got to this video, but cap rap is basically just rapping about stuff that you've never lived or doesn't pertain to you whatsoever. And I want to highlight this just because I saw a TikTok from a mutual of mine, Loda, and he was basically talking about how we're going to be moving into an era of cap rap. We're going to have a whole bunch of rappers who are just rapping about stuff that they never lived, right? We're just going to move into an era of people who, are from Idaho and lived in the suburbs their whole life, rapping about switches, lean, shooting their ops, like all types of just wild stuff that they've never really done before. And we just got a lot of rappers just saying anything. We just got people saying anything because they think it's cool. And hold on, let me just make sure. Okay. And I'm going to respond to a certain response that I saw to his initial post, right? He was like, man, cap rap is going to be a really big thing. We're kind of encouraging it. It's kind of lame. Like, we shouldn't be doing that, right? And so the main response to that was, well, do you want these rappers actually hurting people? Would you rather your rappers actually went out there and committed violence instead of just lying about it? Would you rather them actually shoot and kill people than them lie about it? And I think the people who had that response, the people who, when he said we should stop cap rappers, we shouldn't really encourage people to cap rap, the people whose first response is, oh my God, you want people to actually get hurt? You want them to actually be in gangs? You want them to actually shoot at people? I think that response was very telling, because I think it's a response from people who aren't really immersed in the culture. Because even though they didn't say this, even though it didn't come out of their mouth, even though they didn't type this up, that response shows that in your mind, in order to be a rapper, in order to be a real rapper, you have to rap about the shooting, the guns, the drugs, the switches, all that. You have to rap about that because you're a rapper. That's what you do. Rappers do that. You have to do that. So in their mind, the only option you have is, okay, you're going to lie about doing these things, or you're going to actually do it. Those are the only two options. You're going to lie about being in gangs, doing drugs, doing all this stuff, having switches, or you're going to actually do those things, then rap about it. There's no other option. You can't not rap about that stuff. You can't rap about something else. You can't rap about your own life, your own problems. You have to rap about switches and women and drugs, all that. That's what you have to rap about. That is subconsciously their answer. Now, obviously, if you were to ask that person like, hey, bro, do you think you can only rap about switches and all that stuff? They would say, no, of course not. But subconsciously, that is what they really feel. That's actually their answer. So I think that was very telling. And I think it shows that a lot of people, they see rap as a gimmick. And it is to a certain extent, but they don't really see it all the way as an art form, all the way. They know it's art, but like, again, they see it as a gimmick. They see it as guns, gangs, all that. And that's all it really is. And I think that comes from people who aren't really immersed in the culture. Let's just say that. Aren't really immersed in the culture. And I think that subconscious answer was just really telling. I thought it was very interesting that people heard a man say, hey, let's stop cap rapping about guns and all that stuff. And they said, well, do you want them to actually go commit the violence? I thought that was just very telling. And some people will respond to that response that I just gave and say, oh, well, I mean, like, but like the trap stuff, like it just sounds good, right? Like it just sounds better to like rap about like the guns and stuff than like rapping about like my life in the suburbs or whatever I got going on in my life. And to that I say, that's hella lazy. It's hella lazy because people are like, oh man, well, it's just, you know, it just sounds better. Not really. It doesn't really matter. I think what it really is it's just easier to make that style of music because it's super popular. A whole bunch of people have already done it. And we already know what kind of works when it comes to, you know, rapping about guns and all that stuff. We already kind of know, you know, don't run up on me. I'll leave flat, all that stuff. Like we know it works. And it's lazy. It's lazy as hell because if you are a person who grew up in your own style of life, but you're rapping about somebody else's, why? Other than it's easier. That's the only real reason why you would need to cap rap. Because, oh, well, it sounds better. To who? To who? Like, like there's not really a difference in what you're saying. Like the lyrical content isn't going to be like, oh my God. No, you're just doing it because it's easier. It's harder to take your own life story that, you know, maybe you went to college, you had a good life, you had a good home life. It's easier to rap about drugs and gangs and killing and death. Like that's easy to do because there's already bars written about it. There's no creativity. It's easy to just go 30 on me like Curry, shooting like Kobe, no Ginobili, smoking on this blank pack, insert name here pack. Like it's easy to do that. And I think that that's kind of perverting the art a little bit. It's perverting the art of hip hop because it's like, I don't want a whole bunch of people just copying other people. Me personally, that's not what I want from hip hop. If you got your own personal story, tell that story and you're rapping. Don't tell King Von's story. You're not King Von. Don't tell NBA Youngboy's story. You're not NBA Youngboy. Tell your story. So the whole cap rap thing, like, look, I get it. I get adding a little extra spice. Now, if you're just adding a little extra spice, you know, you rapping about this and that, and you say, hey, pull up on me, see what happened. That's cool. You know, you add a little extra spice. I'm not mad at that. But if your whole career is switches, perks, all this, and you've never done that, like, I just don't like it personally. I think it perverts the art and it makes it something that's not really art. It's more like commercial, which, I mean, I get it. There's nothing wrong with making money, but if you have to sell something else that's not you, especially when your title is artist, I don't know, man. It's just like, if you can't rap about your own life, I don't even know if you should be rapping. Now, of course, who am I to talk? I'm not a rapper. I'm no musician. I'm not Drake. I'm not whoever else. But it's just like, if you can't tell your own life story, do you even really need to rap? Just in my opinion. It's just my opinion. But yeah, I don't like the whole cap rap wave. Again, I'm not mad at adding a little extra spice. Do that. Sprinkle in some bars about, you know, you have a gun and maybe you don't. Whatever. But if your whole thing is you're rapping about switch it and you've never done it, it's just lazy in my opinion. It's lazy. It's just you seeing what other people have done and how it works and just copy and pasting it. So if you're going to ask me if I'm a fan of cap rap, no. Obviously, if you're rapping about switches and all that stuff, I'd rather you be lying about it than actually telling the truth. But I'd rather you just in general rap about something else. The only two options aren't rap about something you've never done in terms of gangs and guns, or actually do the gangs and guns and then rap about it. Those aren't the only two options. Rap is a huge umbrella. It's a huge genre. You don't have to rap about that stuff, but a lot of people can't expand their creativity. A lot of people just want to copy whatever else is popular and hopefully become a millionaire off of it. But that's just my opinion. This was another episode of the Paycheck Podcast, the 605th best rap podcast in the world. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. My neck is really sore. Pause. So it's kind of hard sitting in this position. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining me. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Have a good day. Be safe. Be blessed. Peace.